Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Radio Free Wall Street. Oh, my God. Donald Trump has had a very busy day. And he went to the UN, tried to piss off as many people as he can, told the Canadians they want to meet with him, told the Japanese to begin trade negotiations. Japan said, oh, we're in a trade war. Okay, we'll begin negotiations. And Donald Trump's out of control. And it's all about the elections. Fed raised rates and made it very clear that they would not be influenced by politics. They made it very clear they're raising rates. Just so you understand it, Fed fund rates will be going to 3.5%. The 2-year and the 5-year will be at 4 and 5. And the 10, the 20, and the 30-year will be at 2.5, 2.25, and 2 respectively. And that will be in the next 6 months. We will enter a recession. And the recession will be very costly, and it will wipe out the housing market. It will wipe out massive amounts of triple B debt, which is in the hands of your money market mutual fund, and BlackRock, and all your little sovereign debt people, and they're going to pack it in your retirement account, and you're going to lose your ass. Now, you've had the sage tell you what's going to happen. Well, I don't know. Well, and I want to thank you. If you leave your money in your money market fund and your sovereign debt fund and you're leaving your money at 10K, REK, IRA, I want to thank you for the donation. And I want you to know that I will be squandering a large portion of your life savings, because I always do when I take one of my huge killings out of the market. So maybe I'll send you a picture of the girl or the yacht or something, so you look at it, you say, oh, that could have been mine, but I live in a China-made tent. Donald Trump has started the trade war, and it's going to get ugly. And the outcome of this is going to be the Trump dump. It will be a depression. It'll be ugly. Now, we got Kavanaugh. And his hearings are on Thursday. And now it turns out the guy had orgies and that they had pre-age college fun. So basically what's happened is Kavanaugh, he's a typical prep school prick. That's the people who are running your country, and that's why you're going to hell. See, prep school pricks were raised in their perfected nature. You're a piece of shit and they're everything. You don't deserve the... I know you know these kind of prep school assholes. I knew them. I beat the shit out of them, both mentally and intellectually, with my fists, and had a great time doing it. Didn't I, Greg? And the reality is that the prep school pricks are raised to believe you're superior. Now, let me tell you something about that. Being a lifelong speculator and trader and successful, and trading where it takes years for trades to unfold. Humility, you learn that you're not the smartest person in the world. You learn that there's luck. You learn that there's fortune. And you learn that you're one trade away from humility. Now, pompous pricks that run the country, prep school bastards, and herd money people like Trump, as you see, are a disaster. Talk to the entrepreneurs. Talk to the people that said, I don't know how to make the payroll. Okay, everybody, there's $500 here. Take what you need, and hopefully the bills will be paid, okay? The people that have been through that build the great companies. That is why the great, big, stupid-ass companies like IBM and General Motors and all that can innovate nothing, okay? There's no hunger. There's no pain. They're perfect. They're omnipotent. The General Electrics. General Electric gave back all its 20 years' gains, okay? So... well, if you want to vote your leader for these little pompous pricks that never accumulated anything, that have never suffered, don't know pain, and have lived on the government dole and have never been successful, then obviously you're going to have a lot of leaders who don't know what success is. Now, if you've got leaders that are entrepreneurs, business people that built great empires, took an idea, learned how to suffer as they developed it, believed in the idea when no one else did, those are the great people. And I'll give you a great example. There was a show where they make these stars, okay? And it's run by a guy named Simon Cowell, invented it. And he took these auditions all over the world. In one audition, I guess about 4 years ago now, there was a woman named Susan Boyle. Now, these people get, when you have these showmen coming in to sing those songs, they get dressed up, the hair is done, or the pretty people. You know, in the day of music videos, you have to sing good, but you have to look good. And out walks this woman named Susan Boyle, who's almost drooling on herself. And they're going, oh. By the way, I had to listen to the show because the kids were watching it back then. And I remember Simon Cowell gave a great found. He's got, oh shit. They cut that out. Okay, so if you go on YouTube and look at it, they're like, go, who's this piece of shit? Literally, who's this piece of shit? All right, what the hell do you want? Why are you wasting your time? Who let her in here? And she had a tacky dress that must have been 30 years old, a flower pattern. Okay, her hair was unkempt. She was almost drooling on herself. And she said how she wanted to be a big star. They laughed. And the audience laughed. And then she opened his voice, I Had a Dream, sang the song. And it was like the voice of an angel. And they were all shocked. And, by the way, she was supposed to win it. And Simon Cowell gave it to some dance team, Jungle Boogie, I think it was called a Boogie Woogie, some black, nothing group that never went anywhere, just because they didn't want to give it to her because they knew it should be too hard to handle. Anyway, Susan Boyle is now a star. She has many issues. She's very difficult to work with. But it goes to show you that you don't know where genius comes from. And the problem in America is that if it looks good, it's good, and if it don't look good, it ain't shit. And the problem is that, there's people called nerd squads, okay? And it's these unkempt people that just don't fit in the groove that accomplish great things. And there's people like me that are, kind of the outside. Well, we cut them a new asshole. So now I wanted you to join me in the asshole cutting. The feast is Wall Street pompous pricks, $1 billion money managers on the plate, and on the menu we have famous mathematicians from great universities, and of course doctoral economists, and legendary traders that have traded $1 billion funds that are about to wipe out. So if you want to come feast on their money, it's there for you. Because you know why? Well, I'm a bear. I hibernate, and I wait. And then when I come out, I gourd myself. See, now a bull is a grass animal, okay? He has to eat every day and a little bit. And when we come after the bulls, they ain't none left. So you need to understand that with Donald Trump starting a trade war with China, that China will win. Donald Trump embracing Kim Yum Numchucks is going to make an asshole of him, and pissing on literally our Canadian neighbors is a mistake. Donald Trump is trying to stop the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is now pissing on Donald Trump. They are going to raise the Fed fund rate to 3.5% minimum and probably 4%. They are going to invert the yield curve. They are going to cause a recession. They have no choice. Now, if you understand that and embrace that, then you can move forward and become vastly wealthy. Now, if you got your head up your head, go, well, I don't know. Fidelity says that I can buy the Zero Argentina fund, and they're not going to charge me any fees because Fidelity loves me. Oh, I love Fidelity. That boy is so nice. Just today, as we're coming on air, IMF announced a further bailout of Argentina, which will not be successful. By the way, if you're in a money market fund, you're in a foreign wealth fund, you're chock full of Argentina debt that'll never be paid back. And I guess, let me tell you something. Can you imagine this? You can right now get over 10% on a 10-year government treasury note. Over 3%, okay? Oh, my God, 3%. And that thing is going to be at 2% and 1.5% and 1% and probably go negative. Do you know how much money you can make? No, so you're going to give your money to triple B rated shit that has been placed, by the way, by non-banks in the shadow banking system without regulation, without meeting standards, which is kind of a cousin deal. The mathematicians found a way around it. See, the banks had a lot of rules on how they could handle debt, mortgage paper, CDOs, CDAs, COOs, and all the clever shit. So you know what they've done? The finest minds have done? Well, instead of figuring out how to make money, create entrepreneurs, make great businesses, bring developments that move mankind further, they've used their brains to figure out how to fuck over the regulators. Now, let me tell you, there ain't nothing dumber than a regulator. And now, let me tell you, when a regulator goes into a small firm, he's a rootin' cowboy. We're here to kick ass. When he goes into Chase Manhattan, when he goes into Wells Fargo, he's like, he's like a whip puppy. Okay? He can't, they have billions of dollars, they have lawyers, they can tie his ass up 6 ways from Sundays, and he loses his government job, and he don't get hired. Tea time. When with a perfect batch of green tea. Green tea's like getting a box of strawberries. Depending on the time of the season and what's in the box, some of them are really, really good and some of them are really bad. And it's just kind of a random situation of life. Okay, so now I'm going to let you know what's going to happen so you don't be stupid and you can make a lot of money. Man, if you don't want to make a lot of money, then, like I said, call me and I'll send you a picture. And all my phones are going off. How did I shut you off? I changed phones and the buttons don't work. I'll be quiet here, okay. I did that one. There. Sometimes you have to smash them and shut them down. I like when I do that. Every once in a while I have a cell phone smashing session. Every once in a while the flat screen gets nailed. I learned it from a pretty well-known guitarist friend of mine who I met some millionaire vacation spot in Europe. And we became pretty good buddies. I kind of like the guy. He's kind of crazy as hell. And I was there when he threw his very expensive Gibson guitar through his very expensive, huge plasma screens when they were really expensive. And I liked it. He said, that felt really good. I thought, I got to do that. So you haven't lived until you destroy about $5,000 worth of electronics just because you're pissed off what came over it. So then you achieve true freedom. So anyway, getting back to Donald Trump. Hey, you got him, you paid for him, you might as well use him. He's got Kavanaugh, a major pedophile sex offender. He and part of his college crowd of pompous pricks, since they couldn't get girlfriends, had a wave squad. And what they did was they would get young girls, and they'd bring them to parties and try to get them drunk. And if they wouldn't drink, and they give them a drug-laced drink, a Coca-Cola, and then they gang rape them for fun. Now that's the guy who's going to be your Supreme Court judge. But praise God, I would never overturn abortion Roe v. Wade because I think that's a terrible thing to do. Wonder how many women he forced to have abortions because they got pregnant by him. I know these pompous pricks, and you guys can make your pompous pricks your leaders, and they will wipe out your country. And I want to say thank you for the donation. I really appreciate it. And all my fellow vulture traders want to thank you. And that's just the world you live in. So you can say right, wrong, it's not fair, deep state conspiracy. You know what? I don't give a shit. When you buy that Ferrari, the Ferrari guy doesn't say, well, you had to wait 3 years for that trade to unfold. You're losing money? Yeah? Or longer? Wow. Well, I don't know if I can sell you the Ferrari then. And then he goes, oh, you made this money on Fidelity and BlackRock and Goldman Sachs and all these people that wiped out and they're losing retirement? I'm not going to sell you the Ferrari then. I can tell you that they'll sell you the Ferrari. And they'll sell you a blue one and a yellow one to go with the red one. So if you want to be smart, start getting ready to buy Ferraris and yachts. Jet planes get very cheap too. In fact, I was thinking about my last 3 jets were all from a financial institution failure. How cool is that? Anyway, maybe I can get a yacht from... Oh, how about if we get General Electric's fleets of G1s? Fidelity? How about if we get Fidelity's owners' yachts? They don't tell you about the yachts, do they? Oh, man, it is so cool when you buy them at liquidation, and better yet, forced liquidation. And the price is a lot cheaper, and it's much sweeter. So anyway, you're at a moment where Donald Trump will lose the midterms. The House is gone. House of Representatives, it's going to have a sign there. 5 Republicans left are not allowed. Your offices are in the toilet. Watch it. Now the Senate, let me tell you the Senate. They're going to lose the Senate by 4 is my prediction. And that means we're going to have so much fun screwing with Donald Trump. Oh, it'll be so great. Oh, Melania, can you come here and testify? And I'm sorry, those high heels, we're afraid you might hurt yourself as you try to kick yourself in the ass. So can you put on something softer and preferably American-made? And this whole thing's coming unglued. And Donald Trump will not make it through the second term. The U.S. economy will collapse in a depression. And let me give you the stages. Right now, we're planning for a nice little recession. And then we're planning for a nice little interim 10% stock market downturn. That's to scare out the longs and get the market set up. Then they'll shoot it up. And that will be to shoot up to scare out the shorts. And then comes the big one. And the big one, I think, comes after the elections when Donald Trump gets his blonde ass. I mean, I don't like guys with kind of frosted blonde hair, by the way. So I think it's looking kind of like, girlish to me. And but girly guys are really cool. Everywhere I go, all the girly guys have the pretty girlfriends. Well, all right. So women kind of end up with the men they want. I was talking to a friend of mine. I said, if you get this guy who's really cute and he doesn't do shit, then you ain't gonna have shit, and your life is shit. You better off getting the one that has to work harder, the scallywag, the guy that's not too cute but really bright and a hard worker. Then you have a nice life. Because those cute ones, all he's gonna try to do is screw your girlfriend and your boyfriend. So, maybe you ought to figure out that that's how that goes. And then by the time you get 40, most people end up with the face they deserve anyway, in spite of Botox. So anyway, we're ready for a stock market downturn in the near term. And the next phase of the downturn happens when Donald Trump gets his ass kicked. The stock market is not calculating in the midterm defeat. The stock market is not calculating the trade war, which is going to blow up, because when Donald Trump loses the House and the Senate, then he's going to go and he's going to kick ass. The Kings had a whipping boy. He used to keep this guy in the basement and go, all right, I've had enough beer to drink. Let's bring up the whipping boy. He just beat the shit out of this guy. He didn't do anything. He was just the whipping boy. And Donald Trump has a whipping boy, and that's not when he has too much to drink. That's when he's heard too much fake news. So when he gets into the fake news, he calls it the whipping boy session, beats the shit out of him. And now he's going to fire Sessions. He's going to fire the FBI guys. This is after the election. And a constitutional crisis. And that's why he's trying to load the child molester, rapist, gangbanger, drug girls. But come to think about it, if they let this guy become like Supreme Court judge, maybe America's dad, America's dad, he just got convicted, can take his case for appeal for the Supreme Court. The guy goes, what's wrong with drugging girls and raping them? We did it all the time. It's fun. Not guilty, let him go. So maybe that's a way. Donald Trump made a deal with the devil, okay? And this guy, I am telling you, will not recuse himself from decisions that involve Donald Trump. And the deal he made with the devil was that he will favor Donald Trump in every ruling about executive privilege, presidential rights, immunity for the president, all those kind of things that Donald Trump wants to make sure he gets embraces in his coming long-term fight. Hang on, more green tea. So the way this goes is the following. After midterms, we have the bloody massacre. Donald Trump cleans house, got nothing to lose. And he starts getting ready for the next presidential elections. And the way he wants to win it is by showing how great he is and how he kicked China ass and not stealing intellectual property, and I'm a great trade advisor and a great president and a great businessman, which he's none of the following. And the investigation will continue. And then the little trick that's laying for him is the fact that the state of New York, state prosecutor, is going to take these cases, and he's going to prosecute the entire Trump organization and family. There'll be no immunity. And then Donald Trump will go, okay, Donald, here's how this goes. Melania's a pretty girl. And, with the LGTB, the prisons aren't like they used to be. And a girl like her, things could be, kind of those quiet moments, when the cell blocks are locked down. I mean, things happen with broomsticks and shit, and you're not going to like that. Now, as far as Kushner, well, they call that Putang. He'll be in cell block C. Oh, and Trump Jr.? He'll probably be the most popular date there is. And, oh, yeah, we'll protect him in general population. And his pompous pricks, they don't like pompous pricks in those places at all. So, Donald, we have a solution. Just sign this paper. And do you want to be taken out of here on the Trump jet, or do you want one last flight on Air Force One? Because Pence is landing in his new version of it to take your job. And that's what's going to happen. And by that time, you have a stock market trading about 2,000 on a Dow. And you'll have work camps. And really these slave labor colonies, but like they were the last time, work camps. And you'll sell your daughter for a potato. She's really cute and blonde. I think I'll get 2 potatoes on the potato market. And you won't have to worry about them getting her drunk and raping her. They won't bother with the getting drunk part. So do you get a picture of the world you're entering into? Because if you don't have money and you don't have security, you don't have power, you are screw-blued, tattooed. America's become an evil, ugly country. We will turn within. We will not be able to fund our military. And thank you for your service. And maybe we'll send you a check someday. And yeah, do you mind having your family send money so you can fly back from Germany because we're not going to be there anymore? And yeah, Okinawa, we're not going to be there anymore. South Korea, not going to be there anymore. And so thank you for your service. Okay, and that's how this is going to go. So you better get ready because the end is nigh. Now, let me give you another prediction. Kavanaugh, if the Republicans make the mistake of voting this guy in, they've guaranteed that every female that has nipples that get hard will vote for whoever the Democrat is, including the dog catcher, okay? Because this is the Me Too Now movement. And if you talk to most females, they've had a nasty experience with some powerful man. And this is payback time. Right, wrong, and different. You know, it's interesting. People go with the flow, go with the polling, but then they have their own personal things. It may not be right. It may not be fair that a woman from 30 years ago can make a charge against a man and ruin his career, okay? It may not be the American way in truth and justice, but you know what? It's always gets down to, it's not what people think it is, but what is. See, people think the stock market is a great buy. What is it isn't. People think that Donald Trump's going to be a great president and stay in there. He isn't. People think China's going to lose the trade war and America's going to come out. We're not. So it's really stupid, and I hope it doesn't apply to you, but it may, to be in the crack-up of the greatest empire the world has ever seen. And I want to say something else to you. You realize that the Roman army was never defeated, okay? And that after the fall of the Roman Empire, they ran around Europe until Catholicism came to reign, and then you had the genies and all the fun. I love corrupt leaders. So you're headed for that kind of picture. So you're headed for a Great Depression. I hope you enjoy the money in the yacht. By the way, yacht's 10 cents on the dollar. You know what's so nice about this depression? It came at its greatest boom. And boy, they have built some incredibly big estates and mansions. I mean, I think anybody spends $235 million for an estate like that's out of their mind. But if you buy it for $230,000, I think you ought to do it. And, you know, you got a $60 million airplane, you get it for, well, maybe $200,000 with all the spare parts. I think you should buy it. And those mega yachts, $60 million mega yacht, the yachts are a little more expensive. They might be $2 or $3 million, but they come with fuel, fully fueled. So you should enjoy your wealth because this is your chance to make vast wealth in not just the crack up. See, you need to understand something. This is not the crack up of the stock market. This is not just the crack up of the real estate market. It's not just the crack up of the big trillion-dollar investment banks that have lost everybody's money. This is a crack up of America. This is the ending of an empire. You see, you don't get to screw around and do this stupid shit, and you only can stand too many Donald Trumps before your empire goes bye-bye. And let me tell you, China's telling Trump, kiss my ass. Russia's saying, kiss my ass and don't forget the golden showers. North Korea saying, yeah, I'm going to let you have all my nukes. Iran says, well, the great Satan, we're going to still sell our oil anyway. OPEC says, well, I don't know if we want to put that much oil on the market right now and let the market decide. So you're looking at the crack of a great empire. America has no money. There are no savings. You know what happened? They're in CDOs and derivatives and all kinds of the dumbest shit things you've ever seen that the bankers cooked up. And the smartest minds in America, instead of working for a living, instead of suffering and building great companies, you know what they did? They created a vast pool of debt and found out how to stick it up your ass. It's kind of like a hot dog. What's a hot dog? It's basically shit, painted pink, and covered in pretty paper. That's a hot dog. Okay? When you break it up inside, you just have a mouthful of shit. Now, it may taste good, it may look good, but it ain't good. I can show you inside what it's doing to your body. But I don't give a shit. So if you think you got savings that's in, my savings in Wells Fargo Bank, okay, and you think you got Fidelity Income Growth Fund, yeah, I'm going to retire that, you ain't got shit. BlackRock, they're still laughing over there, okay? Pimp Company, that's P-I-M-P-C-O, Pimp Company, well, you've been pimped. Your money's gone. So all I want to tell you is thank you. Thank you for the donation. I really appreciate it, and I promise that I'm going to squander your wife's savings on the dumbest shit you could ever imagine. I do that portion of it every trade, right? When I get what I call a bingo, yep, 10% of it goes to stupid. Stupid, I tell you, stupid. But it's not my money, it's yours. See, when you take your money out of your account and you give it to Fidelity, It ain't your money no more. And when they tell you that's high income growth fund, you better ask how an Argentina bond that was written for 100 years that will never be able to pay its first dividend except with an IMF bailout is going to be a good thing for you. Now let's do 1, 2, 3, da!